Good morning everyone and welcome to Stretford Paddock. I'm Alex and I'm outside a very grey and gloomy Old Trafford, which is, I'm guessing, summing up the mood of everyone really, because it's not great. The performance at the weekend wasn't good enough, but I think we all expected a bit of a bounce back last night against Istanbul, continue our good Champions League form, and it just didn't happen. It was a very poor game, disorganisation. If you've not already, check out 7 Reasons Why by Adam McCullough and the fan cams from last night. We go through in detail about what we thought went wrong last night, what went wrong. But yeah, not great. Bit of disorganisation with corners and stuff like that. Just poor performances, and it's not a good mood around Old Trafford at the minute and around Manchester United, which, considering probably just after this time last week, we'd just beaten Leipzig 5-0. We kind of picked things up, we'd had a run of beating PSG, point against Chelsea, then battering Leipzig. But now that mood is gone and there's more and more rumours about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But speaking of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, last night he talked a little bit about last night's game. He was disappointed. They said the performance wasn't good enough against a team that worked and ran, and they hit us on the break a couple of times and scored 2 goals. Like something you do in Europe when you don't defend well enough. Of course we picked a team to win the game. We hoped we had enough to create chances, we just didn't. Emotions don't matter when you lose. Well, you can think to yourself how we feel after we lose. There's not something we go out to do. Conceding 2 goals, he talks about the first one we play a short corner and forget about the man up top, and that's unforgivable. And wow, that first goal last night, I mean, I got in, it's ridiculous. It's under 10s defending. I think a lot of the pundits said that last night, that to not have someone back on the halfway line is shocking. I mean, the point in when the clip of when Demba Ba is ahead of Nemanja Matic, he had stepped out of defence. They all gone back, but you still leave someone back. You still know what they're going to do. You know, you've done your scouting reports and you know that they're going to hit us on the counter attack a little bit. Just have someone sat there. It's basics. It's what you do in football. It's not even at certain levels. It's what you do in every level of football. From a 5-a-side game, you leave someone back. You don't put everyone forward because you know that otherwise you can get killed. It's madness. Oh, that goal last night. I think I saw McCullough still fuming about it, tweeting at the middle of the night last night, still angry about it. And I agree, because it's so frustrating because, you know, we brought in Tuanzebe and you had Maguire last night, and you kind of thought, okay, maybe this will be a partnership that can get going. But it wasn't a case of a partnership getting wrong. That was just basic things from a team, from not organising, from not moving people around. Just absolutely dreadful. Ollie went on to say, you don't like to see goals like that at this level. It's not good enough. You shouldn't concede easy goals like that. Obviously, it's not a goal you normally concede, so we've not done our duties now or done our roles. I have to say that's my responsibility. We don't play to a short corner but to get to defending after we played a couple of passes. The second one as well, we're not very well organised to counter press and win the ball back when we're playing. 2 soft goals to give away, and then we didn't have enough to come back in the second half. He then talks about the Tuanzebe substitution. It's something we talked about on the watch along. McTominay came on at half time. We ended up with Matic and Maguire at the centre half with McTominay just ahead, and he mentions that he got a yellow card. We needed to go for it and gamble to go forward, so the yellow card made my decision there. So a little bit of, I said last night that I think Tuanzebe that looked like his first game in 6 months, you know, 11 months, sorry. He played in December last year. That looked like his first game in 11 months. It wasn't like the Paris game. I think he may have just gone on adrenaline, gone on, you know, you play Neymar and Mbappe, you're going to have a big day. But that was the rusty game that he had. Came off at half time. And hopefully we see him back to full fitness, hopefully back to playing well, because I said the Paris game, there was glimpses that Tuanzebe could potentially be our best centre-half. So hopefully he gets back to that form, and hopefully we see him back in the team firing soon. He talked a little bit about Donny van der Beek as well, saying tactically we had to change something towards the end and we brought other players on. Donny got on the ball well and showed his intelligence. Sometimes I felt the whole team was leaning way too much over to the left, which it's nothing new, is it? We were too open down our right-hand side when 1 or 2 players wanted to play football over on the other side. Donny was part of the team. He comes into the club and showed his qualities, but today he really didn't get the opportunity to shine. There's then a few more quotes about him, how we've dropped points there, and that, it kind of ruins the good start to Champions League. You beat PSG, you beat RB Leipzig, and you kind of think, do you know what? Now we've got the easy games. You get 6 points or even 4 points in these next 2 games, and that's us through. The Paris game, the Red Bull game, the return fixtures. We can rest players, we can rotate, we can take our foot off the gas and focus on our staggering Premier League form. But now, those games are going to matter. Those games we definitely need 3 points in the next game, and we're going to need points against Paris and against Red Bull to guarantee us getting through. Fabrizio Romano started tweeting a bit yesterday about some Manchester United stuff. He also had his podcast, the Here We Go podcast, go live, and he spoke about a couple of things about Manchester United. We mentioned a couple of things on the watch along yesterday, but just a bit of recap of them. He mentioned that United are happy with Solskjaer's work and are confident that the season will improve. The club are not thinking about changing manager, and they're planning their future with Ollie. He also spoke about Marcus Rashford, that he doesn't want to consider any club and see Manchester United as part of his life. He's really happy with the family at Man United. The Marcus Rashford I'm not surprised about. I think that, he's a Manchester lad, and he's just, I can see him staying at Manchester United for life, wherever we go, however this team does, whatever the manager's in charge, and I'm not surprised at that whatsoever, that Marcus Rashford looks like he's going to stay at Manchester United for life. The quote about Ollie is kind of not what everyone else in the world seems to be saying right now. I think that the fact that the Pochettino rumours are going to be there, the Pochettino rumours were there as Ollie, before Ollie came in as the interim, before Ollie got confirmed as the permanent manager, and have been there the whole way through, that Pochettino might be the man that takes over at Manchester United, and whilst he's still available, those rumours are always going to be about. And for as much as I think United have always been plugging this thing about Ollie, that they're going to give time and things like that, and they're going to stick with that, but with Pochettino available, I think that these rumours are true. Now, for me, I'm neutral on this. I think that the one thing I want is Manchester United to be winning football matches and competing for trophies. I think that Ollie's not been backed again. I think that Ollie needs, and my worry is that this is just going to happen again with the next Manchester United manager, whether that's Pochettino, Allegri, Nagelsmann, whoever you pick on that. My worry is that happens again. But do you know what? That doesn't mean that United won't be looking at us thinking maybe we could do better. Maybe there is a better manager out there. And there's always a possibility that if results don't improve, and the really worrying thing is that we've got a tough game against Everton this weekend. We then go into an international break, and the Everton games under other managers have kind of defined their terms. The Moyes one was the last straw, and the game against Everton at the end of last season seemed to the end of time for a lot of the players that played that game. I'm hoping it's not the end of Ollie's reign as manager this weekend. I'm hoping we get 3 points, but not good performance at the moment in time. So again, towards the end of that night, just after the game, Fabrizio Romano tweeted about Juventus have been talking about Paul Pogba, or been asked about Paul Pogba again. This was Fabio Paratici. I probably got that very wrong. The Juventus director to Sky Sport in Italy. Paul Pogba as our target, he questions. This moment, he's a Man United player. It's difficult to think about transfers. We love Pogba. He's a fantastic player, but it's too early to talk about our targets for the future. This is a pattern, isn't it? This is something that keeps coming about. This is always something that, any bad performance, anything like that, there's always the odd thing about Paul Pogba leaving. Do you know what? I think that there's only so long that you can keep this going on for. Whether this was a nothing comment, and this was something that the same kind of things that got said about Jadon Sancho in the summer from the Dortmund people, and same thing that Manchester United said, that we're not going to talk about our targets and things like that. But there's always something there with Paul Pogba. Again, he hasn't helped himself with the things he says in the media. He always flirts with Real Madrid. Always mentions that how much he enjoyed being at Juventus. It's something that you don't want, and I've always said that Paul Pogba's been unfairly criticised at Manchester United. I think he's played some fantastic football and been criticised for it, and he's been expected to do more than what a footballer can do. he's a midfielder at the end of the day, but he's expected to score all the goals, do all the assists, do all the tackling, do all the running. And I think that, he's been unfairly criticised at times. I think that this season he hasn't been good enough for Manchester United. There's many reasons behind that. He had a long layoff last season. He was injured for a lot of last season. Only just came in towards the end. He also had coronavirus, and people still don't know the full effects of what that's going to do to players. So there is some excuses for why Paul Pogba isn't firing right now. But do you know what? There does get to a point where Manchester United need to look at it and go, is it worth it anymore with Paul Pogba? For a long time, I still thought, yeah, you know what, he's our best player. But, you saw what Joe said this week. Is he the inconsistency that has? Is he just a midfield nanny? Is he someone that's that inconsistent that, he's never going to be good enough to be that world-class player for Manchester United? And whether it is something with the setup and with the team around Manchester United, that it might not be set for a Paul Pogba right now. It might be time. I said this summer as well. We did the debates, and I said that, do you know what? Maybe it is time for Paul Pogba to step away and us to move on from it. And that's not saying that Paul Pogba wasn't one of our best players, but maybe there's something about, maybe he's not the man to build the team around. Maybe we move on. Maybe we move on to, I said, a Jack Grealish at the time. You brought in Bruno, and you maybe just try something different. I don't know. I think this thing around Paul Pogba will always be there. He's not signed a new contract. He's had the extension go on. But I think that the Paul Pogba rumours will be there. And I think that, to be honest, maybe this summer, maybe this is the time that he goes. And maybe that the funds we can generate from a Paul Pogba sale start, again, another rebuild. It shouldn't have to be the case. We should have the money available as Manchester United, the biggest club in the world that play it, one of the best stadiums in the world. Shouldn't need to have to sell their best players to build and get a new team in and to get the bigger targets in, but it's looking like that way. And maybe the Paul Pogba thing, maybe this summer it's time for him to move on. So that's all from me this morning at Old Trafford. Make sure you're liking this video and sharing the video. We'll have all sorts of stuff building up to the Everton game this weekend, a massive game now for Manchester United's season, for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and for everyone involved at Manchester. Just before the international break, it would be fantastic to see three points against a team that's been playing some very good football. If we get those 3 points again, it can change the dynamics of things this season. But, a lot of pressure on the footballers and on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So like I said, make sure you're liking the video, make sure you're subscribing to Stretford Paddock. I've been Alex, and I'll see you next time.